How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today is the day. Today is Larry's day. This has historically been one of the biggest days for the Bitcoin ETFs. This is historically when there's been a lot of price action on Mondays. And we have some people very in the know that are saying this feels like the day. This feels like it. This is where things change. I want to show you what's happening in the market, give you an update on everything you need to know on this Monday. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to trade crypto, I've been talking about how I feel like this is a great time to be longing the market. You can see how many positions I have open in this lower $60,000 range, upper $50,000 range. If you want to trade cryptocurrency, there's a link to Margex underneath the video where you can start trading in just a few minutes. You also don't need a KYC and you don't need a VPN. As you can see, we have a beautiful, beautiful setup here. 3 higher lows, 3 higher highs, bouncing off prior resistance, using this on the retest as support, moving back up. We're at $69,000 this morning with the election clearing up in 8 days. So if you want to trade, there is a link underneath the video to Margex. They also have something pretty cool right now where you can vote on who you think is going to be president next. In 8 days, it will get paid out if you win. So you can check this out. All you have to do is sign up and then hit this US election button in the upper right-hand corner. So one other thing, you might want to get another platform just in case there's maintenance, because a lot of the traditional platforms go down consistently for maintenance and when there's volatility. So just get ready. Of course, make sure you do research on every exchange you ever use and wherever you send cryptocurrency to. Now, David Bailey, who is the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine and the Bitcoin Conference, says today feels like the day. Okay. I mean, I think he's saying this feels like the day that we break out, maybe break over 70, maybe break to new all-time highs. I would be a little bit surprised if that's what he's insinuating, but maybe a break over 70. Keep in mind, this is typically a good time of the week for Bitcoin ETFs. You can see before we get into that too, Bitcoin dominance moving up. We're almost at 60%. A lot of analysts like Benjamin Cohen say that they want to see about 60%, and then altcoin season can happen. The Bitcoin therapist on Twitter says 8 days until the Bitcoin God candle, kind of pointing out the elections are in 8 days. Keep in mind, there's going to be a lot that happens over the next 8 days from economic data this week, GDP and PCE inflation, and a bunch of earnings. And then next Tuesday, we have the election. And then Thursday, we have, I believe it's Thursday, the Fed Reserve is giving their interest rate decision. So this is a jam-packed 2 weeks. Do not tune out these next 2 weeks. You can see, though, that this has been a crazy time for the Bitcoin ETFs. Over the last week, there was 3,150 Bitcoin mined and 15,194 Bitcoin bought by the ETFs. This is typically the best day for the Bitcoin ETFs, at least over the last couple of weeks. You can see 2 weeks ago, they bought $555 million worth of Bitcoin. And last week, they bought about $294 million. For an average of, 425 million a day on Mondays. So it has been a very good time for the Bitcoin ETFs. We've just seen a lot of inflows in general. Fridays have been really explosive too. We even have, we have a lot of days where we're seeing multi-$100 million days from these Bitcoin ETFs. And you can see last week, 4x, 5x, the issuance of Bitcoin was bought up by the ETFs. You can kind of see how that rolls out over the last, year or so. Or no, this is last 6 months. No, last year. This is each week of the Bitcoin ETFs, basically from the beginning. Just massive purchases along the way. Of course, there are some red days. There are some outflow days. That's when we see the markets dip typically. But overall, the ETFs have bought just a ton of Bitcoin. And this does affect the market significantly. There are also a lot of companies that continue to buy Bitcoin. I mean, look at this. This is a company that is issuing a 30 million, I think that's euro, Nordic bond to acquire LP stakes in funds and buy more Bitcoin for their treasury. We got news of Metaplanet buying another 156.78 Bitcoin here today. So now they hold 1,018 Bitcoin. They've done this all over the last 6 months or so. And this is, I don't want to say a small company. It's multi-millions of dollars. But this is not like a NASDAQ top 100 company by any means. I mean, even when you look at companies like MicroStrategy, they're still 1/80th the size of some of the largest companies in the world. And this is after they've gone up 40x over the last couple of years. So the fact is, the companies that are buying Bitcoin are still minuscule compared to some of the big tech giants out there. But they have been able to buy a significant amount of Bitcoin. I mean, look at MicroStrategy. They bought over 1% of all the available Bitcoin, and they're not even a top 100 company. They're not even close to a top 100 company in terms of market cap. So it is interesting just to see how this is playing out. Bitcoin Therapist says, if this cycle plays out even remotely close to this, we're looking at a $500,000 Bitcoin by 2026. This is Plan B's tweet. Bitcoin is ready for the next phase transition up to the next stock to flow line. As you can see, we busted above the previous stock to flow lines. Keep in mind, this is very bullish. Right? There's some people that think we are actually going to see a bigger pump than last cycle, because last cycle we were held down by FTX and a couple other different things. But a lot of people are saying maybe we see an even bigger pump this cycle, up to $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 per Bitcoin, because of a supply shock. I think that's really the way that we get there, is some kind of supply shock. If it happens, I'm not betting on Bitcoin getting to 500,000. Keep in mind, I always want to hold some Bitcoin, so I'll still be taking full advantage if we go up to that point, if we get up to a $500,000 Bitcoin. But I want to make sure that everyone has realistic expectations for the next bull run as well. Now, Altcoin Daily says everyone should have the goal of at least 10 SOL in their portfolio. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm actually going to say 20 Solana is a very key level right now. And I'm actually making a video. You can check it out later today. But Solana is looking really good too. You can see it's playing out in a very similar pattern to Bitcoin with these higher lows. It has a little bit more of a distinct bottom around 120-ish. But if Bitcoin breaks out back above 70,000, I would not be surprised to see Solana break this line too, which would be extremely bullish. I actually have some long positions open on Solana. I also have some long positions open on Bitcoin with Solana as collateral. I'm extremely bullish on Solana this next bull run as well. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Like I said, there's just a lot going on over the next 8 days, really the next 10 days. We do have a lot of excitement all the way going through next Thursday. It seems like there's something big every day pretty much. Again, I realize that some people get annoyed when I say today or tomorrow or happening or whatever. But the fact is, there are a lot of good things happening, and we don't have forever to buy into $68,000 Bitcoin. We would have said the same thing around 20,000. It felt like we had forever, but then all of a sudden we never get back there again. We just take off, and then we retest 20%, and then we just take off again. So keep that in mind. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to check out the links underneath the video, you can start trading today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.